This video is brought to you by Skillshare. If you don't know already, Arcane has become one of the greatest animated series of all time, with its stellar storytelling, amazing characters, heartbreaking moments, insane fight scenes, and of course its absolutely beautiful art style and animation. And with season 2 just coming to an end, so many artists are making amazing fan art and Arcane-inspired works. But the thing is, most of these artisan works are being done digitally. So me being a traditional artist, I want to know if I could also draw this amazing style, or if it was just impossible to do on pen and paper. And spoiler alert, this genuinely turned out to be one of the best portrait drawings I've ever done. So here's the plan. In this video, we're going to be doing 3 drawings. The first one being a practice study page to see if we can figure out what makes arcane art look like arcane art. Then we'll do a practice portrait to see if we can apply these characteristics and features into an original artwork. Then once we've hopefully got the hang of the arcane art style, we'll be doing a full arcane styled portrait of me and Mr. Shrimpy over here. Say hi, Mr. Shrimpy. Hello. And I genuinely can't wait for that final portrait. But first, we must learn the fundamentals of the style. So let's get started with the very first drawing in this video, the study page. So the main thing I've seen people say about the arcane art style is it looks like it's inspired by this thing called the Asaro head. I think you should subscribe to Shrimpy. But this Asaro head is essentially a geometric, simplified and stylized version of the human head to highlight the different planes of our face. And Arcane tends to really emphasize the different planes of its subjects, so I knew I had to get familiar with the Asaro head. Because instead of using these completely smooth surfaces, we got to use these really sharp and intense edges. But with the Asaro head done, I'm pretty happy with how this came out. Now, some of the more subtle things I noticed about this art style were that although there are lots of hard edges like along the cheekbone, underneath the eyes, and the major plane changes, there's also these really soft edges like we can see here on the cheek and over here as the nose blends out to the rest of the face. So I did this quick nose study to practice using both hard transitions and smooth transitions. I also noticed that Arcane uses small detail lines in places like the edges of the nose and for wrinkles, but does not have a solid outline around the character. And one of the most notable features of the style is its expressive and stylistic eyes. So for my third study, I decided to try and draw Jinx's eye as accurate as possible to the show, applying all the things we've looked at so far. And also, Arcane really seems to love big, thick eyebrows, and I think we captured the style really well in this one. And finally, I decided to do a render of the hair in Arcane because it's just beautifully rendered with so much detail, but still maintaining that painterly and stylistic look with those really clear brush strokes, those hard edges where there's plane changes. It's just so good. So I started out with a light sketch and really focused on creating those large groups of the hair. Then once I was happy with the shape, I got out my big set of markers, got some greyish, brownish purples, and began colouring. But this actually turned out to be pretty difficult and time consuming and took so much layering and blending until it looked right. But then once I added some of those small details with the coloured fine liner, the hair study was done. And I'm absolutely stoked with how this one came out. And just like that, we've constructed this awesome looking arcane study page. Wow, right, if you zoom back, that looks like it's straight out of the show. I'm super happy with how this came out and I already have a much better understanding of how this style sort of works. However, there's not much point in only being able to draw an arcane styled hairdo or a nose or how the structure of the face is if I can't bring it all together and turn it into an actual portrait and be able to do so without using an exact reference of what I'm trying to draw. So I decided that it was time to take the leap of faith and begin working on the practice portrait. So I closed my sketchbook and got a fresh new page ready, but then I realized that I didn't have anyone to draw. Wait a second. What the? Alright guys, so I'm here with... Hi. And now we're going to be doing your little model photo shoot. Oh hell no. Okay, so attach this to the thing.
Ready? Transition.
Bro, that transition was terrible. Well, now we'll set this up. What the fuck?
Should I do the Duke Dennis pose?
The Duke Dennis pose?
No.
3, 2, 1.
What? What is that? That's so cold.
Come to think of it, you guys actually haven't seen my little brother Gil in a video for almost 4 years now, which is actually crazy. I think the last time he was in a video was when I made a custom iPad for him all the way back in 2020. But the craziest thing is that I actually have to make it clear that he's my little brother because he's 6'2" now. But nah, he's very outgoing, so let me know if you guys want to see him more in my future videos. But on the topic of this portrait, this was actually extremely difficult to get both that arcane style and actually make it look like Gil. But I'm really happy with how it came out, so I think it's now time to get out my big set of markers and combine all the skills that we've gained from doing our studies, these ones over here just in case you forgot, and color in our first arcane style portrait. So I got out a bunch of skin tone markers and the same ones I used for the hair study and began coloring Gil's portrait. I used a couple reference of Vi, Caitlyn and Jinx to help me place the shadows and see where to blend, and then I applied lots of layers to gradually build up that warm feel of the skin. But now let's move on to the hair. Coloring Gil's hair was really tricky, and I actually had to rewatch the footage of me doing that first hair study to remember how I made it look good in the first place. But after lots of layering and patience and tears, I was happy with how it came out, which also meant that Gil's portrait was done. The portrait is done. Now this one was definitely a challenge, but I'm super happy with how it came out. However, the real judge of how good Gil's portrait is, it has to be Gil himself. Alright Shrimpy, I need you to make Gil appear. 3, 2... So come back. Alright, Gillian. In this sketchbook, I have your portrait. Now, it is your job to find it. Yo, why is Shrimpy like face down over there? Okay, let's look. It's not that one.
Watch this.
Oh,
that's cool. I look like Hong Se-young from the Squid Game. That looks like me though. I'll take that.
Oh.
Goodbye, guys.
Whoa! Well, I'm really glad Gil liked his portrait, and I think I'm really starting to get the hang of this style. But now, it's time to get serious again. Because it's now time to move on to the final drawing of this video, the arcane-styled self-portrait of me and Shrimpy. This is going to be the ultimate test of whether or not I can master the arcane style, so I gotta make sure it's as perfect as can be. So while beginning my sketch, I actually listened to a class about the arcane style from the sponsor of this video, Skillshare. So while I draw, let me tell you a little bit about them. I'm sure you guys all have heard about Skillshare before. It's the largest online learning community for creators with thousands of classes led by industry experts across film, illustration, design, freelance, and even arcane. So no matter what your current skill level is, whether you're a beginner artist wanting to learn the basics of drawing, or if you're an experienced artist like me who's just trying to learn some different styles, Skillshare has courses made by the best of the best for you to join and learn from. So while working on this portrait, I listened to Learn to Draw Like Arcane by Nathan Jones to see what stylistic features I missed out in my studies and if there was anything I could do to make my portrait even better. And me and Skillshare have also teamed up to give you guys access to all these classes completely for free during the 1 month free trial. So if you're one of the first 500 to hit the link in the video description, you'll get a completely free 1 month trial of Skillshare. So whether you want to learn a new painting medium, how to make videos of your art for social media, or how to draw like Arcane, Skillshare is the place to be. But on the topic of the artwork, oh my gosh, this style is so difficult. This ball took me half an hour. Little Shrimpy looks super cute. Look how cute he is, oh my gosh. But it is just really weird drawing without a hard black outline around the whole drawing. But I don't know, like we did a pretty good job with the studies and the portrait of Gil, so I think we might just have to call it there. What the?
If you do not complete this drawing, I will never forgive you. You'll be a fraud, an imposter, a failure.
Let's finish the drawing. So here we are on the final stretch. Now, as you might have seen a couple seconds ago, yes, I completely redrew this sketch because I thought of this cool pose where me and Shrimpy have discovered a Hextech gemstone, which for those who don't know is the source of magical power in the Arcane show. But while I finish this portrait, I quickly want to say thank you all so much for such an incredible year. The channel has grown so much and I just can't thank you all enough. But if you enjoyed this one, make sure to subscribe. Merry Christmas to you all and enjoy the reveal.